So this comment was left on a video where I was talking about where I said, hey, do you know that you don't have to be healed to start writing your story? True story. And I got a little pushback, and which is totally fine. So I thought I would try to clarify it a little bit further. So, and then this comment says, basically you can read it, but it basically says, I've never found an audience that was empathetic. So writing didn't feel healing. And I get that. I get that. Sometimes we need an audience to validate how we are feeling. Because writing is vulnerable. It just is. And so I could get why you would hesitate to start. I started writing for myself. It was in a space that's just slightly different than journaling. Because when I started writing through my chronic illness, I actually got my laptop out. I was in the middle of an infusion and was feeling overwhelmed and just started writing, almost as though I wanted to put together a personal essay or a blog post or something. So it wasn't fully journal and it wasn't fully for public. It was in this in-between space, right? So the thing is when you share your story in the wrong space or with the wrong people where it doesn't feel safe, of course that's not really going to be healing for you. And so we need to come to this from two different perspectives. What type of healing are we talking about? So I'm talking about the perspective of an internal healing, of how writing helps you see connections, helps you make sense of your story, helps you understand what is happening, right? So that's where we are. Again, when you share your story with the wrong people or when you share it in the wrong spaces, it could feel like another injury. Totally get that, and that's probably where you're coming from. So let's shift perspectives. Let's reframe this for a second, okay? Writing for healing doesn't start with an audience. It starts for yourself. Because writing itself, putting your story into words, has power before a single person reads it. And that power is for you, number one. So where do we get this empowerment? So you do have a good point. Sharing your story with an audience is empowering and is another step in healing. That's why I'm kind of trying to create this little community, teaching you to have the courage to write for yourself, and then creating a empathetic audience to share it with. So that's kind of, we're getting ahead of ourselves. But the thing is, you do not have to wait for the right audience to show up before you start writing. You just start writing. And then something inside of you changes and heals. And then the right audience will show up. The right audience will find you. You will find your people as you begin to heal yourself and talk about it with others. And sometimes the most healing audience isn't even public at all. It's the version of yourself that is finally healed to see your story in black and white. And that is what I am trying, and that is my motivation for teaching you and others to begin a writing practice, is because it changes something deep inside of you. So I hope that answers this question, giving a little clarification that at this point, we are talking about learning to write for yourself. And again, you're not wrong. Sharing it with an audience has a next and final step. So maybe that's where you are and you haven't found an empathetic audience yet. And the reason why I'm a little bit hesitant is because I am in the middle of writing right now, and where I am writing and researching at the moment is at the start of your storytelling. So where do you start? How do you tell your diagnosis story? What happens when you're still in the messy middle and you don't have answers? That's the part of the book I'm writing. That's what I'm sharing right now. The ending of the book is about sharing it with an audience. And so I will get to that, but that's not where my headspace is. That's not where my writing is at the moment yet, but that is in the outline and is part of the process. So stick around. I hope you stick around and learn these principles as they come about.